Hello, welcome to another episode of Forgotten Cemeteries, Pacific Northwest. Got a nice fall episode for you today. Today we're at Deer Creek Cemetery, located in McMinnville. It's got real close to Bellevue, Oregon, Yamhill County. Alternative names of the cemetery include just one, Tharp. So let's go meet some of the local residents and hear their story. Alrighty, a little history about this cemetery. Apparently this is labeled as one of Oregon's more creepy cemeteries, and can kind of see why. I went in a little bit ago. I don't know if it's the fall feel or just the cemetery look in general, but it is a little odd. I guess we'll see during the tour. But Deer Creek Cemetery was established in 1858 with 25 to 100 burials per the Oregon Burial Site Guide. Find a grave is shown around 69 memorials so far, to give you an idea. And it is listed as being on the Joseph Danforth donation land claim, which is odd because there's no Danforths here that I know of. However, the donation land claim was purchased by Abraham Tharp sometime before 1860, so perhaps that's why the Danforth name is non-existent here and the Tharp is an alternative name to this cemetery. Allegedly, most of the people here are descendants of the Tharps, original OGs, Abraham and Margaret. Tharps are 1845 immigrants to Oregon. Cemetery is still somewhat active, I guess. I think I read there was a burial in 2021 and the last one per find a grave. Today, not much. There's some ties to abandoned Yocum cemetery we visited a few weeks ago, and we'll hear the indigenous spiritual teaching called the Seventh Fires Prophecies, so that should be exciting. And our first stop will be Abraham Tharp, earliest birth here in the cemetery, and the OG, born in 1800 in New Jersey. I usually like to find the oldest birth year, but it appears Abraham had a bit of humor. I'm not sure if you can see it on his headstone, but it says died in 1873 and was ready. As said, the Tharps were very early arrivals, coming to Oregon in 1845. Our next stop is the memorial of the Yocums. There's a few of them here, but we're more focused on Hathaway Yocum. We talked about this individual briefly at Yocum Cemetery, but Bellevue, Oregon is the location of Hathaway's original donation land claim. And unfortunately, I did read online that this cemetery has been hit by vandalism in the past pretty heavily, and it appears that this memorial has been hit at one time or another, unfortunately. Alright, I just picked this headstone because of the unique last name, because I don't think we've seen it yet, and that's the Delashmutt. I think they're from Virginia or the West Virginia area, and West Virginia didn't become a state till 1863, I believe, but the Delashmutt immigrated to Oregon in 1852. Seems family members were active in the political landscape. John K. Delashmutt was a county commissioner, held military offices, and was recorded for the city of Amity at one time. However, his burial location is unknown for some reason. And some Portland history buffs may recognize the last name. That's because of Van Buren Delashmutt was once mayor of Portland in 1888 through 1889, so kind of a cool find. Our last stop is of Margaret Stewart Tharp, born in 1813 in Ohio and wife of Abraham Tharp we just talked about. Her father, Robert Stewart, volunteered during the War of the 1812. He would move his family to Illinois in the late 1820s, where they would be caught up in the Black Hawk Indian Wars. Robert would volunteer for war again, and unfortunately he would be killed in 1832 during the Black Hawk Indian War. Without going into too much detail, I discovered through the Danforth family, and remember, this is on the Joseph Danforth donation land claim, he allegedly married a woman named Elizabeth Danforth, I think. For some reason, I couldn't find Joseph Danforth anywhere in Oregon, so I'm not sure where he is. But that story led me to Silver Creek Cemetery, which then led me to the Battle of Silver Creek Cemetery, which only has one burial apparently and is not visible from my understanding. And sadly, zero information in my Oregon Burial Site Guide. My trusty guide did not have it. Just sort of a thing lost forever. But basically there was a man named William Myers, born in 1822 in New York. He moved to Oregon from Idaho at some time and was paid by the U.S. government to be like a volunteer scout during the Bannock War. Native Americans were of concern in this area during that time. At some point, he joins up with this legendary figure in Idaho history named Orlando Rube Robbins, the man responsible for bringing law and order to the Idaho territory, apparently. So, pretty epic thing there. In 1878, Orlando would be chief of the Scouts in the U.S. Cavalry in this area. From here, not much information other than on June 23rd, 1878, William Myers, the individual buried at Battle of Silver Creek location, was scalped and killed. Then his remains were burned by Native Americans. William's remains were buried at the battle site, so apparently there's no official known location, sadly, but this sort of leads into our next story about the Seven Fires prophecy here. Continuing on from Margaret's headstone story, however, during this research of this Battle of Silver Creek, I came across something called the Seven Fires prophecy. This would be the prophecy from the indigenous people of the Great Lakes area of the USA and Canada, also known as the Turtle Island native folklore. Turtle Island was a name used by the indigenous people to describe North America, and basically the Seven Fires prophecy says that all colors and traditions of human beings can come together out of respect. Imagine a world like that. So it goes like this. Prophecies were given by 8 prophets in 7 time periods. A period of each of the 7 periods would be known as a fire. Basically, each prophet would state that the world would become contaminated and the waters turn bitter by disrespect. Human beings would have 2 choices, materialism or spirituality. If they choose the spiritual route, they would survive. Materialism, they perish. So this whole prophecy gets like eerily accurate when I read into it. There's plenty of conspiracy theories on the internet about it, but I'll let you hear it and see what you think. But we'll jump into the second fire. Appears to be the location of Detroit, Michigan. Seems this is where the Native Americans started to get on the move out west. By the third fire, tribes started moving west in search of food, being pushed west in a sense. So I think you know what that means. By the fourth fire, this is when things start to sort of add up. The prophecy describes the light-skinned race shows up. And this is quoted directly from the prophecy. Beware if the light-skinned race comes wearing the face of death. You must be careful because the face of the brotherhood and the face of the death look very much alike. If they come carrying a weapon, beware. If they come in suffering, they could fool you. Their hearts may be filled with greed for the riches of this land. If they are indeed your brothers, let them prove it. Do not accept them in total trust. You shall know that the face they wear is the one of death, that the rivers run with poison, and the fish become unfit to eat. You should know them by these many things. And that's the end of the quote. This is coincidentally when the French showed up. Fifth fire. This is when the great struggle begins, when the Native American people and the abandonment of the old ways start to vanish. By the sixth fire, comes along and the teachings of the old ways is gone. Native American children are being taught the New World teachings and move away from the teachings of the elders. I feel this maybe was when America was like kind of putting Native Americans into the US school system and sort of like rewiring them, if you will. By the seventh and final fire, and it's kind of strangely written, but they describe this young individual long ago, different from the previous 5 fire prophets, with a strange light in his eyes. And this is a quote I read from the prophecy. It is at that time that the light-skinned race will be given a choice between 2 roads. One road will be green and lush and very inviting. The other road will be black and charred, and walking on it will cut their feet. In the prophecy, the people decide to take neither road, but instead turn back to remember and reclaim the wisdom of those who came before them. If they choose the right road, then the 7th fire will light, the 8th and the final fire, an eternal fire of peace, love, brotherhood, and sisterhood. If the light-skinned race makes the wrong choice of the roads, then the destruction which they brought with them in the coming into this country will come back at them and cause much suffering and death to all the earth's people. So, end quote there. So make what you will with it. It was a little creepy reading some of the conspiracy theories out there and how the 7 fires match up with like historical events and such. I mean, you never know. We do individually have a choice these days to respect others and love one another, but I know, easier said than done these days, huh? However, the prophecy does make it ponder a bit if we're on the right path with all the suffering happening in the world currently. Alrighty, time for the tour, the fun part. It'll be a gravel road that comes down here. That gate up ahead is an easy, just like little, oh shoot, what is it called? Carabiner, so it's not locked or anything. You can open it. There's a path over there. I don't know where that goes, but there is a creek over there. I think it's Deer Creek. And up ahead is a cemetery. There's no signs or anything. Very secluded, hidden one, I'd say. Wouldn't even know it if you're passing by. And the directions on Google are not accurate, by the way. It labels the cemetery as being like right in the middle of the road. Keep driving south along the road. You look for a dirt road on the right before the bridge in the creek. And that's where the cemetery is located. It's a little eerie. I wouldn't say it's not too bad compared to other journeys there. I don't know if it's vandalism or if the earth is just so jacked up around here, because the earth is like super dry and it looks like it's shifting, and that's causing the headstones to fall over or crack. Tharps are right up front. Margaret and Abraham with the funny saying on his headstone. Maybe that's humor, maybe not, I don't know. A lot of them are not legible or they're broken, unfortunately. Oh, I can't read that one. Pretty bad. Did see something then. Just interesting. Looks like a Ghostbusters figure of a Yocum that was only 1 year old. Not even a couple months. The Tharps. Throw Tharps. Like every single one's off its base too. This area's a little beat up. I think the earth might be more of the culprit here. Look at this one. It's like this pushed up and that just fell over, unfortunately. It looks like a lot of them have like some cool writing on them and little designs, but you just can't read them. They're just so weathered, or gunks build up like lichens. I don't think we've ever seen that reddish stuff. That's interesting. Like this one looks like it'd be really pretty, but you can't see a whole lot. Very nice fall feel to it. Sorry if the leaves are loud. Okay, make that out. Dang, that came all the way off the bottom. It's like the headstones lost some of its writing. I wonder how that happened. That's not good. Yeah, there's a Masonic symbol on this one. We could sort of see that. Samuel Buell. Little bird bath. Sort of. In the water. I think there's a Civil War vet over here. The man of the headstone. Pretty rough shape. It's going to be of Hussey, a C.J. Hussey, Oregon Infantry. Maybe that's perhaps Christopher's military headstone, because we've seen it before where they have their main memorial. And then they have like their military service headstone to the right of the main one. about the Delashmutt, however you say it. That looks like it has sort of a drapery design on it, huh? And it used to maybe sit up here. It might have been the tallest memorial in the cemetery at one time. Lonely individual. Howard Puther. Oh, is that a Woodman of the World symbol right there? I believe, if I can make it out. See axes and a tree stump. Oh yeah. Here rests a Woodman of the World. So some interesting finds during a tour. All the symbolism people out there. Mary, all the way to the back. Yeah, it's concrete, so something used to be here, and a tree took it over. Looks like there is some type of marker. There's a wooden marker in plants, but not disturb anything. I don't think there's anything back here. We'll walk back for fun. I'd say this one's well worth visiting. It's got a nice feel to it if you're looking to get out cemetery exploration during the fall. It's kind of a prettier time to visit cemeteries. And Halloween season, so kind of goes together right. Anywho, hope you enjoyed this little hidden gem down a dirt road. If you have any other recommendations for cemeteries to visit in Oregon or either in southern Washington, feel free to comment below. Hope you're doing well, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Happy fall.